RuPaul was just on NPR Fresh Air and shared that he and his partner own 60,000 acres in Wyoming, and they lease mineral rights and sell water to oil companies. Okay. Terry Gross did not follow up with one question about the fact that RuPaul is fracking. Oh, so it is fracking. We found that RuPaul, is that true? Ru's partner, it is true? Australian rancher George Labar owns 7 parcels of land in Wyoming totaling some 66,000 acres. Labar's company, Labar Ranch, leases that land to at least 3 oil companies. Anadarko EP onshore Chesapeake operating an Anschultz oil company. Using Frack Tracker, we looked at just 10,000 of those acres and found more than 35 active oil and gas wells.
But then they also say all oil and gas drilling is bad.
All oil and gas drilling is bad. You hear me, Bjorn? This is a fact.
This is a fact.
It's on Gizmodo, you son of a bitch. All oil and gas drilling is bad, but these 3 companies are no mom and pop shops. Chesapeake Energy was a pioneer of the drilling method early in the nation's fracking boom. It was the second most active drilling company in the nation, closely followed by Anadarko. And Anschultz owner, Philippe Frederick Anschultz, made billions from fossil fuel extraction that earned him the 41st spot on the Forbes 400. Wow, interesting. Well, RuPaul is fabulous.
Yeah.
Go get it. Get that money.
But again,
so if it's your land, do you have the right to pollute the rivers and streams? That's the question, because these all have trickle-down effects. Like that water is connected to other waterways, and
we should have better regulation. We have gotten a lot better regulation, but I was simply trying to get you a sense of, when you do anything in the world, it has negative impacts and positive impacts.
I get you're a glass half full guy.
No, I'm a glass that you need to. No, I'm not. I can't carry on that metaphor.
Okay, you don't have to. I put you down a dark road. The idea behind it is there's a trade-off with everything you do. I mean, that's what Thomas Sowell said that, right? There's no solutions, there's trade-offs.
Yeah. And what again, we talked about what should we say to these guys that are gluing themselves on paintings. And not only should you not be scared witless, you should think of this as a problem. But then you also need to find out what actually works. Remember, Germany has spent Germany is, for many people, sort of this amazing green wonderland.
Yeah.
But no, they've gone from 84% fossil fuels to now 77% fossil fuels, and they've spent $500 billion trying to achieve that. That's not how you do these things. That's not how you really show yourself to the world and say, we're
Is that
really amazing.
Political posturing thing where they put policies in place because those policies are what the people have been sort of at least programmed by fear-mongering to expect and want from their politicians?
It's partly that. I mean, obviously it's good politics because a lot of people get reelected saying, I'm going to save your world and elect me, and then I'm going to put up some more solar panels. But the problem is it's an incredibly expensive way of achieving almost nothing. And that's why, if you look at what fracking has done, fracking is sort of a dirty word.
Do you work for Big Fracking?
No,
this son of a bitch works for Big Fracking.
But I simply point out that fracking, more than anything else, has cut carbon emissions dramatically because you've given an alternative to coal, which not only emits a lot of CO2, but also kills a lot of people through air pollution. And you can now do a lot less. Imagine if we could make China frack, India frack. Europe would be good to frack as well, because we could actually get all of these countries to switch away from coal towards gas. Now, this is not the whole solution, but it has the beauty of being cheaper so that you don't actually have to go to all these summits where everybody promises stuff and then don't do it, but you would actually have people do what's in their own private interest, namely.
But that's an uncomfortable trade-off to me, this idea of exploiting the environment that way. Because that's what it is. It's like if you're going to agree to pollute a certain amount of the water, a certain amount of the land, is there any solution to extract that pollution? And is that even feasible or possible?
Of course. I mean, look.
But is that?
Yeah. I mean,
because if it's not, I don't think that should even be considered. I understand that our emissions are an important issue, but our emissions are where they are now. For a trade-off like that, where you decide you're going to do something that's going to definitely pollute rivers and streams, and to decide the way you're going to do that because it's going to reduce the effect on the environment in terms of the emissions that we create.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way.
Yes. So look, I think we need to go back,
there a
and
better way?
I would love to look at the study again. So the vast majority is air pollution. That's simply just that you have elevated levels where you know near the fracking.
This
places.
is from This is pollution from fracking.
Yes.
Air pollution.
So the
And it's
water
localized?
pollution. It's localized, and it's mostly the people who are also getting the benefits. That's why many people would accept this sort of trade-off. Absolutely, we should not have you're sort of switching over to this other place where we say, but what if it dramatically damage rivers downstream and cultural place and all that stuff? That's much more regulatable. That's the kind of thing where you just simply say you can't do this. We had a lot of this impact in the early part of fracking, where just everybody did it. It was sort of Wild West for everything. But you can regulate a lot of this, and that's why I think it's a fairly small part of it. But again,
how can you regulate unseen water pollution? So if you are the method that they utilize in fracking is they drill holes and then they force liquids into these holes. And these liquids are filled with chemicals, and somehow or another there's a process, and they use that to extract it.
Yeah.
So how are they doing that, and how could you possibly regulate that if you're not even seeing where it's going?
So,
like, would you have to?
So the way you regulated it was to get rid of the most dangerous parts of those chemicals. As I understand it, there's very little dangerous now, the chemicals that you put in, and then also have the overflow. So you actually get the wastewater out, and that you keep that or you treat that before you release it back.
Is that possible to do if they're pumping it into the earth?
No, you pump it out again. You get
pump it out again.
Yeah.
So
it's not you're not leaving it down there. The pollution, that's also why it gets back into the environment. The pollution typically came, the water pollution that you're thinking of, I think, mostly came from people taking this this wastewater when it comes back up again, and then just letting it seep in, putting it in places where it wasn't quite where if it rained a lot it would just overflow or that kind of thing. And this is something that we know very well how to do. If you have yes, there are always people who will cheat and stuff. That's why you need some sort of follow up as well, and you probably also want to have bigger companies doing this because they follow standard procedure. But this is fairly simple to manage, if you will. That's what the EPA does.